everyone. Welcome to It's Crystal Clear, a show designed to help you know where your money is going instead of always wondering where it went. My name is Felicia Young, and I am thankful that you are allowing me to help you reach your financial goals. So, we're just a few weeks away from our 3-month mark. How are you doing? Are you getting close? Has making the adjustments gotten easier for you? Or are you still struggling with trying to make it happen? So I know y'all hadn't quit on me. I know you haven't. Because you want to be free indeed and financially healthy. So I'm enjoying the feedback that I'm getting from you on the different ways that you're cutting expenses, the different ways that you're saving money, and being intentional about where you spend each and every piece of your dollars. But my favorite conversation of the week came from Miss Donna. So I ran into her this week and she told me that she stopped liking me a few weeks ago when I gave the assignment to look through bank statements and to track the money. She said she made time to look through 1 month's bank statement and she saw where her money was going, eating out several times a day. So she's a busy woman. She's a career woman. She's a mom. And it was just convenient to do grab and goes. But when she saw how much money she spent on eating out, she became determined to make a change. She and her son, they started to meal prep. The amount of money that she spent in a day eating out, she was able to meal prep food for the week. And she's saving her money to spend on other things that she really wants. So Donna, you can start loving me again. We see that it's crystal clear is working for you. So I want y'all to keep those stories coming. I want you to celebrate your progress. I want to celebrate with you and encourage you to keep on going. So today's episode is called As for Me and My House. In this episode, I will discuss the importance of choosing to do what's best for your children and your children's children. So years ago, I was married with very little kids. My husband and I didn't make the best choices when it came to how we would manage our money. We moved around a lot and we didn't have any stability. Our children weren't able to keep friends long because we just kept moving. We weren't able to just establish roots. And I knew that wasn't the life that I wanted to live, and I knew that wasn't the life that I wanted my kids to live. I wanted more for them. As my marriage ended and the next chapter of my life began, I made the choice to do the best I could to give my children a better life and to make sure that they didn't repeat the mistakes I made when they became my age. I made the choice to work hard so I could buy my home and establish stability for my children. I developed the belief that each generation should get better than the previous generation, that we are to do everything we can to make sure they have the tools, the resources, knowledge, experience, and guidance they need to live their best lives. And I did my part. I witnessed God do his part. My oldest daughter graduated from high school and college with her bachelor's and master's degrees. She is currently an advisor at a college. She's married and she's the mother of my favorite little human. My middle daughter graduated high school in 3 years. She graduated college in 3 years, and she went back and earned her master's degree. She's married, and she literally travels around the world. My son is a wrestler in college, and he's currently ranked number 12 in the nation. So I didn't tell you all of that to brag. Just a little bit I did. But I want you to see how God answered my prayers. I wanted my kids to have a better life than I had. By the time I was their age, I was married with 3 little kids and headed for divorce. Watching my kids prosper forces me to want to do more to help them do so. I want my life, my work, my efforts to benefit them, not to be a hindrance. So a few years ago, I hired an attorney. I hired her to draft my will, and I got life insurance policies on myself where each of them are equal beneficiaries. At the time, I didn't have a lot of stuff, but what I did have, it was mine, and I wanted to make sure that my stuff went to who I wanted it to go to when I passed away. So I made time to work with my attorney to draft my will and give roles and responsibilities to each of my children so they can make the best decision regarding me without emotions being attached. So each one of my children, they have a copy of my will, they have a copy of my insurance policies, and they're on my bank accounts. So if anything happened to me, they can have access to the resources to handle business and not have to go into their own money or start a GoFundMe account to pay for anything pertaining to me. And they will have plenty of money once I'm gone from the sale of my home, from being the beneficiaries to the life insurance policies, and what I have in my banking account and investment accounts, they have access to. I was determined to take that stress off of them and make sure that their life is better because I took care of their business now. And I expect each one of my children to do the same for their families and do it for their children. So I told that story to many people I knew. I told it to my family, my friends, my coworkers, and other financial classes that I taught. And I was shocked to find out how many people didn't have a plan in place to take care of their burial needs or provide for their families financially once they passed away. Once your life is over on this side of heaven, your family should be spending their time grieving you, celebrating your life, cherishing your memory, and as time passes by, reaping the benefits of the many financial seeds that you planted while you were alive. So that's why we're having this episode today. We're born to live. Then we live until we die. Now, people say that they want to go to heaven, they want to live with God. So you're not going to do that by being alive. One day you will not be here anymore. And when you leave this earth, it should be a better place because you were a part of it. You have been working hard since the beginning of the year to better manage your money so that you can hit your goals in order to live an amazing life. You're really focusing on paying down your debt. For many of you, that has been a challenge. For some of you, that has been a struggle. For most of you, it feels like it's pretty much impossible, but you're doing it. You're doing what you can to pay off your house. You're paying extra notes towards your principal every single month so you can shave off those years. You're making bi-monthly payments so you can burn that note many years faster. You're doing what you can to be debt-free. So can you imagine once you pass away how the value that you have in that home can tremendously bless your family? They can live in a home that literally has no mortgage, or they can sell it and they can live off the proceeds. They can invest in their lifestyle and their future. You've been working hard for weeks with this crystal clear to pay off debts, loans, credit cards, so you can have extra money to build your savings and investment accounts for your future. Part of your future are your kids and your kids' kids and their kids. So what sense does it make to save and invest all that money and when you pass away, no one is able to get access to it because you didn't do what you needed to do today to make it happen? It's not logical. I know of a family who, after their father died, they were trying to sort through everything to find out where anything was. Their dad, he was a man's man. He was a phenomenal provider. Their mom had passed away a few years before, but when she was alive, he took care of that woman. He supported her when she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom and raise their kids and take care of him. When the kids were grown and successful, he paid for her to go back to college to earn her degrees with an S so she can pursue her corporate career. He paid all the bills. He bought their home when they were married and raised all of their children there. When the kids were grown and out the way, he bought his wife their forever home. He had nice vehicles that he was paying all of the notes on. He had several bank accounts with sizable balances. He had life insurance policies with a named beneficiary. He had a safety deposit box with cash and important paperwork in there. He made sure his kids didn't have to worry about much. He took care of the needs of all of his children. And as they grew up with the capabilities of having access to the best education and great life, when he passed away, of course, the family was devastated. But their grief became compounded by panic. Their dad was a great dad who made sure they didn't have to worry about a lot in life. He made sure he took care of everything, so they didn't have to worry about anything, so they thought. When he passed away, they knew he had a life insurance policy to help bury him and to pay for the funeral expenses. But where was the policy? What company was the policy through? Who was the agent that they needed to contact to even get the ball rolling? Did he have a will? If so, where was it? Maybe it was in the safety deposit box at the bank. Who knew where the key was? Whose name was on the account to get access to the box? He had a lot of money in his bank accounts. Surely they can just use the money to bury him until they found the policy. What banks did he have? What were the account numbers? Which one of the children was even authorized to get access to the accounts? They looked through his mail for any clue to see where any of the account information was. Then they remembered something. A few years early, they bought him a computer for Christmas, and he was excited to have everything automated and using the paperless billing. So that was the answer to their mystery. The bank statements, the house note statements, the car note statements, all of that should be neatly in folders on his computer or in his email. The problem was, who had the password to get on his computer? Finally, they found one of his life insurance policies. Guess who the beneficiary was? Just take a guess. Their mom, who passed away years earlier. So he had been so consumed with grief to where he didn't even think about updating that policy. He wanted to make sure everything was in place so his kids wouldn't need to worry about anything while he was alive. But the one mistake that he made, he didn't tell anybody where anything was or make time to update information regarding his estate. So instead of just being able to grieve and cherish the memory of their dad, who was a man's man, they were forced to go into their pockets to pay for the funeral expenses and hire an attorney to navigate through that journey. The reality is, for many of you, if you passed away today, your family will be in the same situation. Or realistically, they can be in the worst situation. What if your children were in the same financial situation that you're in right now? Could you even get buried? So I'm not trying to be morbid, I'm not trying to be gloomy, but like I said in the previous episode, life be lifing. And a part of life is death. And we should be prepared for it. And we should take unnecessary burdens off of our family when that time comes. And your legacy will be one of gratitude, where your kids and their kids and their kids will be grateful that you were alive on this planet. So, how will you leave a legacy? I'm glad you asked. Number one, you're going to invest in a life insurance policy. You explored your latte factor and you're able to free up a few $100s. I need you to make time to research great insurance agents who will work for you and not for the commission checks that's attached to unnecessary policies. I need you to invest in a policy that will benefit your family now and in the future. There are policies out there that you can earn cash as the years go on. Do your research and get what is best for you. And when you get your policy, be sure to name beneficiaries. If your children are minor, what adult do you have in your life who you will trust to raise your children and need money to do so? Name them as part beneficiary. You don't want the care of your children to ever be a financial burden to the people who you trust to raise them. As your kids get older and that guardian is no longer needed, update your beneficiary list. Anytime a life change happens, update your policy. Make sure you leave your policy or a copy of your policy where it can be found by whoever is supposed to find it. If it's in the home safe, make sure someone knows it's there and has the code to get inside. If it's in a bank safety deposit box, make sure names are on it to get access. Make sure they know their names are on it to get access. And make sure they know where the key is. So, how will you leave a legacy? Number two, you will make time to draft your will. So you explored your latte factor, you eliminated expenses, and you have some extra money to save. Use some of that money to get your will drafted. Make time to research attorneys to do it for you, who won't charge you an arm and a leg for it. Or you can go online and you can research how to do it. That will walk you step by step through the process of drafting your own will. So you may be thinking, wills are only for rich people, people who have a lot of stuff to leave. You are rich. You are rich people. You have a home that you're paying for that is an asset to be left to your family. If you don't have a home but planning on buying one, that will be an asset to be left to your family. You own a car. That can be left to your family. So because you explored your latte factor and you eliminated expenses, you now have bank accounts with money in it. That can be left to your family. If you own anything, you need a will. You need a will to benefit your family when you pass away. So, how will you leave a legacy? Number 3, by opening investment accounts that would generate income for your future and theirs. So you're eliminating expenses and you're saving money to reach your personal goals so you can live your best life within budget. But you also must make sure that your family has the resources they need too in order to live their best lives. In Proverbs 13:22, the Bible says, "A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. The blessings on the life of a good man is great enough that upon his death, he has enough to give an inheritance not only to his children, but to his grandchildren." So I heard this concept debated a whole lot, especially from wealthy people who don't believe in leaving anything to their children, let alone to their grandchildren. Some feel that their kids are irresponsible and would just blow their money, just blow right through the money. My opinion is, if that is how you feel, what are you going to do to change that? If you have young children, teach them the value of money. Let them watch you pay those bills. Explain to them what you're doing. Let them have chores to earn money. I bet if they cut 72 yards in the hot summer to earn money for those shoes they want, they'll take better care of those shoes. Or better yet, I bet you if they have to cut grass in the hot summer, they'll find cheaper shoes so they won't be spending all of that money on one thing. I remember when I was a kid, I wanted a pair of Calvin Klein jeans so bad. They were $98. I don't have money. I'm a kid. So I asked my mama. She had money. She go to work. Do you know she had the audacity to tell me no? So I told myself that when I was able to get a job, I was going to buy myself any designer outfit that I want, anytime that I want. Y'all, when I got my first check from my first job, my very first purchase were those Calvin Klein jeans. Y'all, when that woman behind that counter told me the total of one pair of jeans, that was the last pair of designer jeans that I ever bought. I learned that day to choose my financial battles wisely. I need y'all to make time to teach your kids about the value and responsibility that comes with money. What's taking you 30, 40, 60, 70 years to learn? Teach that to your kids and your grandkids now. So by the time that they're your age, they're good. So some people feel that just like they had to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, their kids should have to make their own way as well. That's fine. That's fine if that's how they choose to live their life. But as far as me and my house, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that my financial ceiling is my children and grandchildren's floor. The world is already full of challenges that your children will have to deal with. Why not take a financial burden off of them? They're your children. They're your grandchildren. It's your legacy. The value of your knowledge and your wealth that you are working on now must be passed along to them. As for me and my house, I am choosing to live an amazing, affordable life until my time here on this earth is over. And everyone I'm connected to will be blessed because of the choices that I'm making now. As for you and your house, I want the same thing. I want for your family to be so blessed for generations because you chose to make changes now that's going to make that happen for them then. So that's the end of today's lesson. I hope that it blessed you. And if you want to bless others, I need you to share this video. Remember, we're on Spotify and YouTube. I'm working to achieve a goal. I want to help families eliminate millions of dollars in debt by the end of this year. And I cannot do it without your help. So I need y'all to share. I need y'all to share. I need y'all to share. So until next time, I need you to make sure that you dream big, you stay focused, and you live your best life within budget.